Hey, what's up? I just wanted to tap in with a quick video, just some inspiration that's on my mind, and just some angles I wanted to come with. I've been talking about like carrying a guitar around, and a lot of times something about like a lot of people look at a guitar and you can appreciate a guitar as romantic, and but you may not the romance of it may not have become real to you as you're maybe as it's speaking to you. I had one time I was up on hard times after my first time away from home in college, and I was back with family, and my father had a guitar sitting around, and I was up under a lot of I was up under a storm. It was as fair as the weather was outside, I was up under a storm, and I thought to myself, damn, that guitar, man, if I could play that thing, man, I'd be good to go in all this, man. I'd throw away whatever they're coming at, whatever different people want from me, this and that. I'd be all right if I had that guitar with me. That was what my thought back then. But I didn't know how to go about it, so like I got like a lot of different books about guitar, and they were sitting around. And sometimes the presence of things can influence you. So just having a lot of guitar books laying around kind of influenced me. But I did that for a while, and I tried some different teachers, and I had some experiences with those. I've never had an all the way solid experience of a teacher or of a school, and I think that somehow teachers and schools might be similar to like families, and so I've said in other videos that my understanding is that human beings have something called internecine, which is infighting, and it will transpire in nearly any setting of human being. I want to say any setting of human beings. We have any group of people where all the human beings on the planet, a small family, a couple of two people, even yourself, there can be conflict within yourself. And like me, myself, and I, three's a crowd, me, myself, and I. But that is actually healthy because it causes the shifting and the change that makes life viable. The earth has been here at least like 6 billion years. So 6 billion times like 365 days. I won't waste time on this video trying to do the math, but that's a lot of days. But you can imagine that the weather has never been stable that entire time. The sky has been changing that entire time, and I think that that's part of what makes life viable. I think that the earth is very magnetic and may inform the sky conditions from the electromagnetic activity of the earth, including the foot traffic of animals and people. I think that our feet are highly magnetic. It may influence the earth and influence the weather, and then the weather shifts where the surplus is and the drought, and then that changes that makes the animals and the animals that prey on animals, and it makes life shift in different directions and cover the earth, almost like what a gardener would do. But it's very dynamic, and it's like a feedback loop, but it involves a lot of challenge and constant change. And I think that's why the earth is alive and vital. And as I'm sitting outside right now, this looks young and new and fresh, but it's been here for eons. On top of, even the word eons is probably that's probably a stretch and redundancy, what you're trying to express with that, but it's as young and vital as ever. And we have young. Sometimes you see animals and you think that they're so mature and wise, but a lot of these animals are probably like maybe 1 and 2 and 3 years of human age, and I'm getting on to like about 4 decades. But life is really fresh like that. But part of it is this constant shifting that has to do with like the electromagnetic properties of the earth, and also of our traffic upon the earth, and then also our conduct within our attitude, fundamentally our attitude about others and ourselves. It informs our conduct with others, and it creates imminent conflict that you can't run from. It'll get around to being conflict at one point, and that'll cause shift, or it'll cause growth within a person, because that conflict can be equally within as without. I've said, according to Sebastian Junger, the journalist, is that when you have troops you have a group, a military group, whether like a rebel style or like a state style, you're gonna have fighting without and fighting within. And so it's the same with life, is you're gonna have conflict without and conflict within, but it all causes change. but I a little bit was digressing with that. But so I think that also schools and families are like that, because according to Osho, the word school means like it means like leisure time. That's what school actually means. It means like leisure time. So school is somewhere that you go and you kind of loaf around leisure, and then you maybe you do things that you enjoy. You do things constructive, challenging. You muse upon things. You intellectualize, philosophize. Imagine like the school of like Socrates and Plato's and Aristotle. They were probably doing a lot of loafing around at that time and impressing themselves and their students, and maybe the students were impressing them, and that would be more impressive. But it amounts to learning. But it's still, you're loafing around somewhere and you're asking for it. You just imagine like standing around. Most in most settings when you're loafing around, it's like a matter of time till trouble comes. So I've just experienced trouble in any teacher relationship or school, and I think that actually might be part of the impetus that will later push you out of that school with whatever lesson you have to go forward. So that's actually the purpose of is part of that. So people say like these schools have so much conflict. What is this conflict in the schools? I think some of it is just the nature of a school, of schooling itself, is that it is composed of conflict, and then maybe the conflict is upon the subjects that are entertained in that school also. So you go to school and you're learning a lot about life, but you're also learning a lot about conflict. And real life, the school is a microcosm of real life. So all the different things, treacherous and beautiful, that exist in the broad society exist in the school also, as profound as that would sound at the different levels. I've worked with K through 12 as a school bus driver, and some of the fighting that I saw, like with the young ones, like some of them, they were jaded to conflict at a young, like you have like second graders that are not daunted by like when I was a kid, like I got out to like my later years in school, when I had a fight on my hand, when I had some real static on my hand with other children, boys more so, I get butterflies a little bit. I was like man, I wasn't. Sometimes I wouldn't feel comfortable like with some static with other people, even though I was into sports and different stuff. But some of these students that I've taken care of at a young age, they don't flinch. It's sad. I wish it weren't like that. But I had one experience where like this because when you're a young student, when you're a young child, you get nosebleeds a lot. It's part of being young. So this child came on the bus with a nosebleed. He had been having a nosebleed all day at school, and then but then there's some other students on the bus that the student was like in the habit of like slapping with and get into, and they were not intimidated by intimidation, by like having a problem with each other. It was just like they call that old hat when you're very used to something. So it was like business as usual to have like some strife. So his other kid slapped him, and he already came on the bus with the nosebleed, but I think it might have made his nosebleed again. And then his parent was more so cool that he didn't string me up from a flagpole, because like, what's up with his nosebleed, man? But the student actually had the nosebleed already, and then they did like some slapping. But all I meant to say is that some of the young people, they're already comfortable with conflict way past what you would think would be appropriate for a young person. But I think that the schools, they do have all the things of life, but really school is conflict in the greatest sense, and that's part of what a school actually is, because that conflict, it creates the growth, and then it makes a person go off and to do their own thing. And if you have things like sports that are constructive, you can channel some of that natural aggression like that, but it doesn't always work seamlessly even in sports. But so picking up guitar was like that for me, where it was very challenging. But then I met a man who approached it differently. One is that he was more technical, and he didn't do anything for the sake of doing anything. And also he had me playing like a smoker would. He wanted me playing like, if I'm watching YouTube, if I'm cleaning up around the house, he wanted me to pick up the guitar frequently and intermittently. That was a game changer for me. That completely changed my experience of guitar and my experience of life. So some people see me with a guitar and they're like, how long you been playing? That's like a natural question that comes to mind. The question is, how long would it take you to appreciate someone as a smoker if they're messing around with cigarettes daily? Or like if people are getting around to flirting with cigarettes intermittently and frequently throughout a day, with maybe socially and privately both, how long would it take you to appreciate them as a real smoker, or for them to be a real smoker? And I don't mean to advocate cigarettes by any means, but just that a guitar can be like that. But the beautiful part of it is that it opens windows in that you never knew how cool a park was. You never knew how cool you never knew how cool a curb was. You never knew how cool sitting around waiting for something at a restaurant was until you brought a guitar with you. And so that's some of the romance of it, is that it's portable. That's the beauty of a guitar, is that it's portable. It's portable and expressive, and then it can allow us to be with ourselves and therefore be with others. And that's what I'm experiencing, and I just wanted to share that.